Okay, great. I'm very happy to have this chance to present a case study of earthquake cycle with dynamic relaxation, because by the time I have joined the group, most of the hard work has already been done by Bin and Dunyu. I will focus on this, studying some earthquake cycle in subduction zone. So that's my starting project. And Dean has already introduced some flowchart of the cycle. It's involved the dynamic and the post-seismic, interseismic, and the nucleation phases. And theoretically, this FEM dynamic earthquake simulator could deal with a lot of heterogeneity. For example, the medium property, the density, some elastic or viscoelastic or plastic, and also on the fault plane, it could assign different kind of friction law. And for example, the rate state friction law in the earthquake cycle, we can assign multiple friction A and B parameter and normal stress and the critical distance. Yeah, those kind of heterogeneity, and then make complex fault earthquake behavior. And so here on the left, it shows a 3D figure that our model is loaded on the boundary, like from the hanging wall upward, and for the footwall is loaded downward. And also on the fault plane, we apply the written state friction law. Bin has talked about it. And for this A and B parameter or critical distance comes from the lab-based experiments. And when A minus B is smaller than 0 is velocity weakening, and larger than 0 is velocity strengthening, that will prohibit the fault slip. And the A minus B is smaller, it will promote the slip unstable, make it unstable. And we between the stable and unstable, when A minus B is smaller than 0, there is a zone named as conditional stable. That is, earthquake cannot nucleate on it, but can propagate over the conditional stable zone. And there is an expression of H star to describe the critical size of the fault asperity. So H star, when the asperity size is much larger than the critical size, then the asperity is unstable. When it's a little bit smaller, and then it's conditionally stable. So that's that's how we set up our parameters to generate some sleep behavior we want. And the case study I showed is about the interaction of tsunami earthquake and shadow slow sleep events on subduction zone. So maybe most of you have been pretty familiar with the slow sleep events. Is and also tsunami earthquake. Tsunami earthquake is very shallow and induce large tsunami. It has pretty low rupture speed, lower than 1.5 km per second compared to the regular earthquakes. And the slow sleep event is much lower. It cannot be recorded by seismometer. It is usually several kilometers per day in rupture speed, and very, very low sleep rate and duration. And it has some complex relationship with the subduction zone earthquake. So like two of them, they are both kind of have some slow behavior. So we want to check if they have some similarity in the friction condition on the fault. And here is a conceptual model showing from Badek and Lay, showing the some asperities embedded in the conditionally stable zone. At shallow subduction zone is above the seismic unstable zone. And so they said that the tsunami earthquake is related with those asperity nucleation and then propagate into the conditional stable zone with some very low rupture speed. And also some studies show the slow sleep events also may occur on the conditional stable zone. So they may co-locate on the same zone. And here is the finite fault inversion model of the Java 2006 tsunami earthquake, and you can see some very large steep patch, and also some embedded in the background low steep patch. So it's very like some small asperities within some large conditional stable zone. So we will explore this using planetary fault plane and some two asperities embedded within the conditional stable zone. So based on those H star equation I showed in the last slide, on the asperity, the H star on Z1 and Z2 is smaller than the size of this asperity, but on the surrounding area, H star is larger than the width of this fault, and so it's conditional stable. And based on the slip rate history, we can see there are dynamic events, and the Z2 ruptured more frequently because Z2 has a low normal stress, so low strength, and Z1 asperity has a larger normal stress, large strength. So we can see Z1 ruptured every about 70 years, but Z2 ruptured every 30 to 40 years. And also we can see the slow slip events. It's occurred more. There is some supercycle behavior, like slow slip events occur more frequently in interseismic 1, but there is only one slow slip event in interseismic 2. And I will show a movie. This is more fun to watch. And the event nucleated from Z2 asperity and got stopped at the boundary of Z1, the high strength asperity. And then there has been multiple slow slip events occurred on the left of the fault, S1 to S6. And then you can see this locked zone is shrinking smaller and smaller. And then this slow slip event S6 occur. And later it triggers an event nucleation as event 2. And then event 2 still paused near this boundary. And 55 seconds later, it triggered another sub-event and ruptured the Z1 asperity. And then is the post-seismic 2, the fault is logged. And then the interseismic 2 and the slow slip event S7 occur to this side. And then another nucleation still on Z2 asperity because Z2 is so low in strength. And then this is a supercycle behavior. Okay, so we see that there are more slow slip events during one interseismic 1, and the coupling degree is pretty low. It's released most of the tectonic loading, but during interseismic 2, because most of the fault is locked and the coupling degree is pretty high. So this is the average over 20 or 30 years. But we know the current coupling degree calculation is based on the recent 20 or 30 years tectonic record. So if you use that to infer the coupling during a supercycle during a much longer period, that may be pretty unrealistic. I will, because of time, I just skip. And so generally, we find that based on our observation of slow slip and tectonic and the tsunami earthquake, we set up some model to simulate, and we found that slow slip event and the tsunami earthquake can collocate on one fault, and the conditional stable zone contributes to slow slip events and also to the tsunami earthquake. It can make the earthquake rupture speed slower, about 1.5 slower than 1.5 kilometer per second. And also due to the heterogeneity of the strength, fault asperity strength, there are some events of a smaller magnitude, 7.1. There are some events can rupture the whole fault, and with a larger 7.3 in magnitude. So I think that's a good example of the earthquake cycle simulation. And here is the resources we used. We used the HPRC in Texas A&M, and because the fault is pretty long, it's more than 200 kilometer, and a long strike, and also perpendicular to strike and also in vertical direction, there are tens of kilometers. So the model is has about 30 median hexahedral elements, and for a cycle for about 6 cycles running about 20 years, we use the 600 CPUs and some 300 gigabytes of memory. The simulation lasts for about 62 hours. And yeah, it's for a large size of this model, it needs some computation resource. And that's all. It's pretty fast.